Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm just going to wait for you guys to tune in. Come on in. Hello, everyone. Hello, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. How's everyone doing? Come on in. Come on in. Um, I feel like immigration has just been in entertainment news so much in the last week between Portia and Simon, and now Angela and Michael from 90 Day Fiance. And I just wanted to debunk some of the things that I have seen in the comments. Someone says the caption took me out. Yes, I want to talk about this because, from the comments, I've read all sorts and, just want to do my part here to educate you guys on the immigration laws and rules based on some of the comments. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Aisha Chidole. I'm an immigration lawyer and I represent clients all over the United States and internationally to immigrate and become green card holders or U.S. citizens. If you'd like to schedule a consultation, the number is 407-995-6567. You can also send a WhatsApp message to 404-333-8751. Someone said the caption is the tea and more. You guys are cracking me up. So let's just jump right into it. If y'all have been living under a rock and don't know about Angela and Michael, let me just quickly explain who they are. So, Angela is, a U.S. citizen who basically got engaged to Michael, who she met on Facebook. They've got a 20-year difference. Angela, I think at the time he was like 33 and she was like 53 or so, when they met. And Michael is from Nigeria and, Angela is from the US. Oh, wait, someone is asking me for the number again. Let me quickly say the number again. It's WhatsApp is 404-333-8751. Okay. And when I do get off here, it's in my profile. So you can also get it from my profile. So basically, if you guys have ever watched 90 Day Fiance, 90 Day Fiance is a show where they basically document people who are engaged to U.S. citizens and who they're filing for to come to the United States. Why is that show called 90 Day Fiance? So first of all, 90 Day Fiance is because when you submit an application for a fiance visa or a K-1 visa, you basically have 90 days when you enter into the United States to marry and to put in your adjustment of status application. If you don't marry that person, generally you're not going to be able to get a green card from anyone else while you're here in the United States. You would have to leave the country. So the penalties are very great. So how does this relate to this? So last night, while I was minding my business, getting ready for bed, checking updates and entertainment or social media, I saw that, Angela basically made a plea asking for anyone to find Michael who had been missing. And they didn't know where he was. The police was involved. They were looking for Michael. And, as of this morning, by 5:30 a.m., which is when I usually wake up, to get my kids ready for school, I saw that Michael had been found, and Michael basically said he didn't want Angela to know his whereabouts because he didn't feel safe. He felt his life was in danger. One of the things, some of the key things that I would like to touch on, first of all, are, so some of the things that Angela said was, he left his passport, he left his wallet, and he only had $40 on him, and then she referred to him as a Yahoo boy. So for those of you who are not Nigerian, a Yahoo boy essentially means someone that's like a scammer, which, is an unfortunate reputation that, we Nigerians have been deemed to have. I don't know Michael personally, whether he's a Yahoo boy or not, but that's what Yahoo boy means. So a lot of people in the comments were saying, Michael can apply for VAWA now. That woman was abusive. If you've watched the show, you do know that Angela is abusive, and so of course I had to talk about this because, my platform talks about abuse every day. There are episodes of her literally using her bare hands to rip apart his car, throwing a cake on his face, amongst many other things. Like, if you watch the show, it's painful to watch, and of course, people are like, how is he able to put up with this or deal with this? And so it's no surprise that he can leave without his passport or his wallet or anything like that. So on one hand, while people can say, well, he's an American, no, he doesn't have to put up with this, which he doesn't have to put up with this if he's in an abusive relationship. But I mean, for you to leave without your wallet and your passport, it must be serious. It must be serious. So let's talk about the immigration consequences, though. So the good thing, or the good news for Michael, is that Michael and her did get married in 2020. So Michael did not come here with a fiance visa. Michael came here with a spousal visa, which is a green card. The second good news for him is that because of the time when he was approved, he had been married for more than 2 years. So he doesn't have a conditional green card. He should have a 10-year green card based on that spousal visa, because you only get a 2-year conditional green card if at the time of approval you had been married for less than 2 years. They got married in 2020. He came into the United States in December of 2023. So well over the 2-year requirement, which would have been 2022, anytime under that. So for those of you who are basically saying he should file for VAWA, he doesn't need VAWA. He's a green card holder. He already has a green card. All he has to do is wait for citizenship and apply for citizenship. And then I think other people were like, oh, that's not a real marriage, what they did, or whatever it is in Nigeria. They had a real marriage. The United States recognizes in Nigeria 2 types of marriage outside of the Muslim marriages. A court registry marriage, where either you have your wedding in church and then you submit it to the registry, or you have it in registry. And you could also have a traditional marriage, which we also know as native marriage, native law marriage, or customary marriages. Those 2 types of marriages are very much recognized by the United States as legal marriages. So he was certainly married in 2020. And, as an abuser, he doesn't have to put up with it. He doesn't have to put up with it. Even though he was even abused, he could, the only thing that would have made him ineligible to file for VAWA while he was there was because he never had lived in the United States. So, him entering right now, if he didn't have his green card, then yeah, he could have filed, but he didn't need to, because he came in as a 10-year green card holder. So he's good, and hopefully he's well, and hopefully, they can leave him in peace. If they're able to work things out, great. If they're not, people move on. So that's what I just wanted to give some clarifications on. Let me answer some of the questions. Someone says, my situation is similar. Mario, tell me more. What is your situation similar? All right, let's see. Let's answer some questions. Can I use my advance parole to visit a friend in Canada when I'm from Nigeria? One thing you guys have to know about advance parole is that advance parole only allows you to enter back into the United States. However, if you want to travel to another country that's not your home country, you want to make sure that your visa, your passport from whatever country you're from, allows you to go to that country. So if it's a country that requires you to have a visa, you still want to make sure you get a visa approved before you go to that country, because if not, you're not going to be allowed to enter the country. Your advance parole only allows you to enter back into the United States, not it doesn't grant you access to that country. Okay. So Glamour says Angela was definitely abusive. I hope Michael gets away and gets the help he needs to recover from this trauma. Absolutely. I definitely think he needs to get the help that he needs. And I can't tell you how many men put up with this. Like, we represent a lot of male abuse clients. And there's a lot of shame in admitting or acknowledging that they've been abused, or what they're experiencing as abuse. And they're like, well, what am I going to do? I'm not going to fight the person back. I'm a guy, or whatever it is. But men are abused in a much more painful way a lot of times than people would imagine. Like I always say, I listen to grown men cry, because sometimes myself or any of the other attorneys that work here, it's their first time for that person communicating, the abuse that they've experienced. And so being able to talk to someone without feeling judgment that, you failed, as a guy or as a man, and understanding that these things happen to the best of people, and, I always say abuse transcends race, social, economic status, and that's why you see people that are successful who are, famous, even dealing with abuse. Look at what happened with Cassie and P. Diddy. She's, famous in her own right and probably is perceived as successful, but she was in an abusive relationship. So it can happen to the best of us and nothing to do with immigration. Okay. I have to present proof of good character as a valid applicant. I've gotten my prima facie twice. Once submitting proof, how long does it take to reach a final decision? It's been 3 years ago. Once you submit your proof, hopefully it should be, since it's been 3 years and they requested an RFE, hopefully it should come sooner than later, but I can't give you an exact timeline, but it should come hopefully within a few months. I'm curious as I'm so sorry for Michael. Yeah, I know. Hi, Lock Tracy. Good morning. Good morning, Angie. I know. It's terrible. It was terrible to watch. Like I had to stop watching it because, it was just really terrible to see that, happening. I got my green card 13 years ago through VAWA. I filed for my citizenship and I was denied due to fraud, misrepresentation. I have a clean record, just 2 traffic tickets. Want to reply, please advise. Can't advise you without a consultation because we got to know what are they saying you misrepresented. So, schedule a consult and I'll be happy to go over it to see what it is. Okay. MT Mossy says, my vow was approved. A USCIS sent me an RFE of medical. Does that mean no interview? Not necessarily. High chance that there's not, but we definitely have people that they send the RFE for medical and they still have an interview. So. Patel says, my lawyer did not send my declaration with my vow. I can send it now after 1 year. He only submitted a psychological evaluation. Yeah, you can submit and amend your application at any time if you have new information to give them. Yeah. If a person was born in Portugal and lives in London and wants to visit America, what does that person need? Well, the person is going to have to determine from their own embassy what is required for them to come into the U.S. Do they need a visa? I don't know about Portugal, but I know, like, for instance, if they're now in U.S., let's say they're UK citizens, it's possible that they may have what we call ESTA, which is a visa waiver program that allows you to enter to the United States for 90 days at a time, and then you can leave. Some people are not eligible for ESTA if they don't have any sufficient nexus or ties to the UK to return back. And so they have to get a B1, B2. So it just really depends on that person and where their citizen is. But, they need to know what makes them eligible to visit the US. Maria says, I married my wife since 2017 and my I-130 was denied. Schedule a consult with us and then we can see what's going on if you're still within the appeal window. Okay. Can I bring over my brother and sister who are in Benin and they're over the age of 21? You can. It's just that if you're a U.S. citizen, you can. It's just that it's going to take them anywhere from like 17 to 18 years. So the timeline is really, really long. Does a 90-day rule go for marriages in the U.S.? So Juicy Tan, 90 days is really for what we call K1 fiance visas in this regard of what I'm talking about or today's topic, because the idea of it is that you don't want people just applying for people saying that they're their fiancés, and then they come here, and then once they get here, then they kind of do their own thing, So for instance, if Michael did come here with a fiance visa, for instance, let's use that for example, and since he just came in December, this is just a scenario. Let's say he came in here truly as a 90-day fiance, and he didn't get married to her within this window, and he escaped because he feared for his life and she was abusive, for example, he's not going to be able to adjust his status and get a green card in the United States. He wouldn't have been able to do that. because he had to have married that abuser. Now, if he married that abuser, but still had not gotten his green card, like, so he entered in December and they got married in January, but he never even got to file their adjustment of status application, then we could have submitted a valid application for him and he would have gotten his 10-year green card that way. Okay. Can I submit my medical packet at the same time I'm submitting other documents? Island Boy, it depends on what kind of case you are submitting. Okay. All right, let me see what else we have. How long can someone put in for citizenship after getting a 10-year green card? Go do no, Pat. It depends on what did you get your green card for. Was it based on marriage? If you're still married and living in marital union, you can do it in 3 years. If not, you have to wait 5. My spouse keeps filing head of household because of the money they get, and now I am at my 3-year mark, but I'm not sure I can qualify for naturalization. I'm frustrated. So if your spouse is filing head of household, what are you filing then for your taxes? Because you do have to have the correct taxes to qualify for naturalization. That is actually, IRS fraud, filing head of household knowing fully well that he's married. If he doesn't want to file with you, he should be filing married, filing separately. But for you, what are you submitting? What taxes are you filing? VAWA takes forever in Oklahoma. VAWA is not processed in state by state. VAWA is processed in one processing location, Vermont. So it's not in Oklahoma versus Georgia versus New York. Everybody's case is and decisions are made in Vermont. And then once they make your decision, then they move you, then they move you to the field office. And that's when they then do the green card portion, the interview or bypass interview. Should you receive back a notice after you send evidence they requested? No, you're not going to get a notice. Sometimes if you have email notification, you may get an email saying that we received your RFE response, or you can log in and you can find it in your case status as well. But I will say they don't do that all the time. It's not consistent across the board where they will update to say they received it, even though they received it. Do I have to wait for my 2-year green card to expire before I can apply for my 10-year green card? You can apply as early as 90 days before the 2-year expiration. If you fall under other categories like divorce, death, extreme cruelty, then you can do your application earlier or later. My friend had a life-threatening attack by her spouse about 9 months after she secretly filed for VAWA. Can her case be expedited? She can certainly try. That's actually really scary. She can certainly try. It's up to USCIS and the evidence that she submits to approve the expedited request. Yeah. Can I file for citizenship while waiting for removal of conditions? I'm now divorced. If you are eligible and you're certain or you feel confident that you're going to be approved your removal because of the evidence that you submitted. My I-130 was approved. I-485 is pending for about 14 days. Is that normal? Sometimes that happens because the I-485 is not really questioning the legitimacy of your marriage. That's what the I-130 does. The I-485 is questioning your admissibility. So that is your own standalone. Are you admissible? So is there something that you need to research or see in your application to make a decision? Okay. My husband is an American citizen and I'm a green card holder, but can my husband file in for my adopted child from Africa to come to the United States? It's going to depend. It's going to depend on how did you legally adopt that child, and is that child considered to be his stepchild? Peter says, how long does it normally take for an I-765? You mean I think you mean an I-751, removal of condition based on abuse. All removal cases take anywhere from 2 years to 2.5 years minimum. Sometimes you're going to have one that's like, 18 months, 12 months, but those are not normal. The normal ones take 2 years. And that is why they give you a 4-year green card extension. So you can have that, while your case is pending. I have my case pending since 2020. I was about to renew my, it's about renewing my, you mean removing the conditions on your green card. Is it true I can file citizenship now? I just answered this question, so I'm sure you probably heard that response. Can my father file for me while I'm visiting by adjusted status? The answer is going to depend. Are you under 21? If you are under 21, it's possible. If you're over 21, unlikely, because you're not an immediate relative. Okay, I answered this one again. So Abba Asabs, as long as you're filing separately and being honest about that, because you are married, you're just filing separately, then you shouldn't have a problem with your citizenship, because you're not trying to evade taxes because you're telling the truth that you're married. You're just not filing with your husband. So your husband's own application is not, IRS tax application is not what determines whether you can be approved for citizenship or not. It is yours. So as long as you're being honest with yours, you should be good. How long do we need to wait to file for vow after marriage? You need to wait as long as there's no abuse, there's nothing to file. When there's an abuse, there's no timeline. You submit, if you're being abused, you can submit your application, at any time. Can a waiver remove a cited misrepresentation? It depends. What is a misrepresentation? There's some misrepresentations that are never, waivable. Why did they never approve Michael for Angela? So Jacqueline, they actually did. I don't know if you just tuned in to the live. Michael is in the United States. He was approved. Okay. As a parent caring for a sick U.S. minor, work permit can I file for as an F1 holder? So I'm sorry to hear that. You might be eligible for what we call medical deferred action if they deem that it's necessary for you to stay here and take care of the minor. That's usually decisions for that are usually made at the local field office level by the field office director. So that would be what would be your option. If someone hasn't gotten a prima facie and receipt the first time and hasn't gotten renewal since June of last year, and her attorney has sent an inquiry but no response, please advise. So you've not gotten receipts and you've not gotten a prima facie. So I'm more concerned about the receipts. I don't know who your attorney is and what was done, but you should probably speak with your lawyer to find out what they can do. If they're going through the VAWA hotline unit, they should be able to tell them whether that file is there or not. Like if they submitted a VAWA, they should be able to respond to them and say, we don't have the files here, resubmit it, or we do have them and we sent it, here's another copy of the receipt. So start there. If not, then you might want to consider having an ombudsman assist you with the process. All right, guys, I got to jump off. I will be on live tomorrow. Let me just check my calendar so I can tell you guys when I think I can come. Okay, so I'm going to be on live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if I didn't answer your question, I will answer them tomorrow if we have enough time. All right, guys. And otherwise, if you'd like to schedule a consultation for a confidential discussion on your case, call me 407-995-6567. Bye.